Verses 6 to 11. Further provision is made by this branch of the statute against receiving the infection of idolatry from those that are near and dear to us. It is the policy of the tempter to send his solicitations by the hand of those whom we love, whom we least suspect of any ill design upon us, and whom we are desirous to please and apt to conform ourselves to. The enticement here is supposed to come from a brother or child that are near by nature, from a wife or friend that are near by choice, and are to us as our own souls. v6. Satan tempted Adam by Eve and Christ by Peter. We are therefore concerned to stand upon our guard against a bad proposal when the person that makes it can pretend to an interest in us, that we many never sin against God in compliment to the best friend we have in the world. The temptation is supposed to be private. He will entice thee secretly, implying that idolatry is a work of darkness, which dreads the light and covets to be concealed, and in which the sinner promises himself, and the tempter promises him, secrecy and security. Concerning the false gods proposed to be served, the tempter suggests that the worshipping of these gods was the common practice of the world, and, if they limited their adorations to an invisible deity, they were singular, and like nobody, for these gods were the gods of the people round about them, and indeed of all the nations of the earth. v7. This suggestion draws many away from religion and godliness, that it is an unfashionable thing, and they make their court to the world and the flesh because these are the gods of the people that are round about them. Moses suggests, in opposition to this, that it had not been the practice of their ancestors. They are gods which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. Those that are born of godly parents, and have been educated in pious exercises, when they are enticed to a vain, loose, careless way of living should remember that those are ways which they have not known, they nor their fathers. And will they thus degenerate? It is our duty to prefer God and religion before the best friends we have in the world. We must not, in complaisance to our friends, break God's law. v8. Thou shalt not consent to him, nor go with him to his idolatrous worship, no, not for company or curiosity or to gain a better interest in his affections. It is a general rule, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Prov 110. We must not, in compassion to our friends, obstruct the course of God's justice. He that attempts such a thing must not only be looked upon as an enemy, or dangerous person, whom one should be afraid of, and swear the peace against, but as a criminal or traitor, whom, in zeal for our sovereign Lord, his crown and dignity, we are bound to inform against, and cannot conceal without incurring the guilt of a great misprision. v9. Thou shalt surely kill him. By this law the persons enticed were bound to the seducer, and to give evidence against him before the proper judges, that he might suffer the penalty of the law, and that without delay, which the Jews say is here intended in that phrase, as it is in the Hebrew, killing thou shalt kill him. Neither the prosecution nor the execution must be deferred, and he that was first in the former must be first in the latter, to show that he stood to his testimony. Thy hand shall be first upon him, to mark him out as an anathema, and then the hands of all the people, to put him away as an accursed thing. The death he must die was that which was looked upon among the Jews as the severest of all deaths. He must be stoned, and his accusation written is that he has sought to thrust thee away, by a kind of violence, from the Lord thy God. v. 10. Those are certainly our worst enemies that would thrust us from God, our best friend, and whatever draws us to sin, separates between us and God, is a design upon our life, and to be resented accordingly. And, lastly, here is the good effect of this necessary execution. v11. All Israel shall hear and fear. They ought to hear and fear, for the punishment of crimes committed is designed in terrorem to terrify, and so to prevent their repetition. And it is to be hoped they will hear and fear, and by the severity of the punishment, especially when it is at the prosecution of a father, a brother, or a friend, will be made to conceive a horror of the sin, as exceedingly sinful, and to be afraid of incurring the like punishment themselves. Smite the scorner that sins presumptuously, and the simple, that is in danger of sinning carelessly, will beware.